Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another episode of CardBlitz. This is episode 33. I'm joined by my good friend Patrick Marshall. I'm your host, Kelly Reed, and we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Michael from Humongous Hoard. Fellas, how's it going?
Good evening.
Good. How you doing, guys? How's everyone doing? Good?
Doing
Doing
well,
good.
doing well. Well, special guest Michael, Humongous Hoard. Let's get started, man. Do you collect cards? Have you been a part of this hobby for a while, or you just kind of getting into it, or not at all? What do you think?
For a pretty long time, I started collecting when I was seven, started with actually Garbage Pail Kids. And
Yeah.
Gateway cards,
then
garbage pail kids. All right.
Garbage Pail Kids, the original Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
And then, my mom didn't like them too much. And then when I started collecting baseball cards shortly after, she was pretty happy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I'm sure some of those original Garbage Pail Kids cards are they're probably got to be worth some money though now, right?
oh yeah, if we just kept a box of sealed, they'd be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Instead of
For a
putting
long
them on like
time.
the walls or binders or books or whatever, sticking them around.
Yeah, I stuck them everywhere. Well,
Exactly.
not all of them, but a lot of them I did. Again, I,
I've,
I was young
I've,
back
I've
then
still
and
got a
didn't know
few
any
of
better.
those. Yeah.
Dude, Michael, I was going to mention my Gateway cards are Star Wars cards from
Uh,
1977. So I
Okay.
didn't jump into to sports cards till a year later.
Mhm. Okay. Nice. So
Yeah.
what about you, Patrick?
Yeah. I kind of
What did
jumped
you?
into baseball right away. I mean, I went with a couple card shows with my best friend and his dad, and would go to
Mhm.
these like different boxes, the bargain boxes. Is like, ooh, early win. Ooh, Lou Brock. Okay, these guys, you should, that's $1. Buy that, buy that.
Mhm.
And it kind of started something. And I started looking at the stats and like who these players are. And I'm a math guy. So I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Then I started memorizing. So now I have like a bunch of like crazy baseball trivia in my head that probably no one should know. And it started from there. And it just kind of grew from there. And then it became players I watch on TV. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well,
It
Michael,
was with baseball.
so you went from Garbage Pail Kids into baseball cards, is that correct?
Yeah, just it just kind of happened. I mean, I still like Garbage Pail Kids, but I guess the baseball card sets are a lot bigger and a lot more to collect than the Garbage Pail Kids. So I just gravitated towards that.
Was this like a
So
late 80s or mid 80s or
mid to late '80s.
all right. So
Yeah.
so like Topps baseball was that like 87, the wood grain bordered
Yep,
cards
that was the first year I bought. Yep,
man,
Hey,
I'm giving away my age at all here.
we're all young
hey,
here, Michael.
Yeah, yeah.
I started
What?
85. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was Dwight Gooden. I mean, Dwight Gooden,
Uh-huh.
come on. Roger Clemens,
Mhm.
Kirby Puckett. I mean,
Yeah.
it was magical. That was a good set. So,
Mhm.
So how did you and Humongous Horde come to be or become
yeah.
acquaintances or get started?
Okay, so Humongous Hoard started in 2021. Everything during the pandemic was hard to get. Shipping containers, they're so hard to get stuff through. I mean, I heard they peaked out at like almost 35, $40,000 just to get a container in. So that's why the supplies are super expensive. I felt that we needed competition in the business, more competition, lowers prices. Also, makes it more incentive for everybody else to step up their game. So, we did little tweaks with our supplies to make them just a little bit better than the competition. To the naked eye, might look the same, but certain things are just a little bit better. And people who submit cards for grading, know our semi-rigid holders, and they don't get cut anymore when they use our product.
Hmm.
So that's one, major thing we did. And this, again, it's minor, but it has a big effect.
Yeah, you got to protect the integrity of the card, and then yeah,
Mhm.
you want the best condition of that card to be there for the grading process. So I certainly understand where you're coming from on that.
But
Um,
I'm talking about the integrity of your hands. So like everybody that's used other ones have gotten many paper cuts. I mean, I still have permanent scars like,
oh
my
wow.
fingers and all that, because I've been through, tons of millions of cards over the years. And, I don't have those problems anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. So did you have a background in like import of things? I mean, like what was your background before this?
Well, again, I've been into baseball cards since I was a kid. It's the only job I've ever had. So I had no background in importing, but I was able to figure all of that out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Well, I was going
Yeah.
to ask Michael. So, you've been in cards from the get-go. Did you start off like obviously as a collector, but did you like set up at card shows, or how'd you get into the hobby after your first foray of just collecting cards?
okay, so there was a baseball card shop at a local mall. I did my first like yard sale at my elementary school when I was like 10 years old. I did a whopping 25 bucks. Hopefully the IRS doesn't, try to get some back taxes on that.
That's right. Yeah.
But I did a whopping like $25,
Today's
which is
dollars
for a
is a
10
lot.
years old.
Today's dollars.
For, for a 10-year-old, that's a lot of money. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's right.
even
Back
today
in the
it's
late
not bad.
80s, yes, definitely so.
Yeah, like in 1990. So yeah.
Definitely. I was going to ask, what part of the country did you grow up in, and did that influence your collecting habits at all?
I don't think I mean I'm in Maryland, so we had the Orioles. There's a local card shop that I bought cards from, and they're still actually they moved a few different times, but they're still in business. So that's good. And so I guess it started from there. I went to got a Beckett, saw that there were shows. I was like, okay, so what do you do as a 10-year-old? You ask your parents to take you to the show, and
Right. Right.
thankfully they obliged.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. So, Orioles, was that like your big MLB team, or
Well,
who
around here. So, I mean, I actually ended up following the Braves maybe because it was convenient that there's like TBS and you got
Turn
to
on the
see like
TV.
pretty
Yeah.
much all their games. So it allowed me, I guess, to follow them closely.
Yeah.
And
You get to
uh,
see Leon the Bull Durham and
mhm,
and Glenn Hubbard and Craig Oberfell, all those guys. Yeah.
mhm,
Same in Texas. So
mhm,
definitely, man. The TBS thing is big. So going into Humongous Hoard, it gets going in 2021. You said, uh,
mhm.
like, did you start off just trying to get out there on the web, or were you trying to head up the same kind of card shows that you were familiar with growing up? Or I'm curious about the story. Michael.
Okay,
So
sure.
what can you share?
All right. So yeah, I mean, again, I've been in this for a long time, so I knew a lot of people. So, I was hoping that a lot of them would automatically switch over considering the quality and um, you know, we obviously we're competitively priced because this isn't the only thing we do, so we don't have to make all our money from this. We could cut the margins and to get supplies, into people's hands cheaper and it doesn't hurt us too much because again, it's not our only thing. So we do have a competitive advantage there.
Hmm.
So and also I wanted to protect like a lot of my dealer friends that were getting killed on the prices. So, that's one of the big reasons why I got in. And, now everybody's getting stuff cheaper than they would have otherwise. I mean, even people that never bought from us said, thank you. You made other people come down on their prices. So,
Right. So you expanded the market by entering the market. Were there a lot of
mhm.
challenges to that for you and your company?
Well, yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning on the importing side. So, the lead times, all the tariffs, well, they're much worse now than they were, when we started. But the cost of importing the containers was like sky high during there. I mean, again, I was told it peaked out around like 35, 40,000. I think the most we paid to get a container in was like around 30,000 or so.
yeah.
And, now, from where we are, in Maryland, going to the Baltimore port is probably, 6,500 to 8,000. So, it's dropped a lot. It's still not back down to what it was probably pre-pandemic, but it's a lot better than it was during those times.
Well, I don't want to hog up all the airtime. Patrick, do you have any questions
No,
you'd
no,
like to ask
that
Mike?
was part of my question earlier about the import thing because I thought that was very
Okay.
interesting. I'm like, how did you navigate that? But you just answered that, so that's kind of cool.
Okay. I don't
So
know if I'm getting too technical, whether this is
no,
turning boring
I mean, like,
or,
I mean, I do.
but
I work for a Japanese company, so besides my collecting side, so so just curious. What I'm really interested in is like, so the future of Humongous Hoard is like, I was thinking like, what happens when people have these old holders, these old rigid holders, these old plastic sleeves, these old nine pocket sleeves? Is there a way to recycle those? I mean, do you guys have a program where people can bring those in and you guys will like give them a deal back on something else? I mean, is that even exist in this industry? I have no idea. Is there a recycle program of some sort?
I'm not sure how you would recycle them, but that's definitely something to look into.
Sounds like a revenue revenue like growing thing. Like if you can, I mean, Humongous Hoard could like capitalize on that or something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could look into it. I mean, I don't know how much it would cost, recycle versus just getting the raw materials. I mean, I do know that raw materials on this side of the world, one reason why it costs a lot more to make over here is, other than the labor, the raw materials are significantly higher than over in China and, that part of the world. I don't know why. So, but, maybe that could be something, I'll look into it. I appreciate that idea.
Well, the reason I asked is that some of mine, like I have like an 86 Donruss set that's in, it's a 9-page, the 9 card holders. And it's like leaching like some of the oils or something like over time, just because it's old. So I don't know if it's polypropylene that was made with or just some oil byproduct, but I mean, it's almost like it should be better because the pages stick together. So I was just really curious if that transferred over to semi-rigid holders and stuff like that over time. I don't know. Or screw down holders. I mean, can people bring those back to you and you can like say Humongous Hoard will take them and we'll recycle them back and give you like percentage back on your dollars? I don't know. It sounds like a marketing thing. So I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I could look into recycling. But it sounds like it's possible. So I guess in the 80s, there was a problem with PVC pages.
Yeah.
The soft PVC, the hard plasticized PVC is fine. That's not going to leach or anything, unless if you get it like super hot. If you're like put it in an oven, sure, it's going to melt. Or if you get it like in unlivable conditions, 150, 200 degrees, maybe you might have a problem. But I don't think anybody's storing their cards like that. And I would never recommend anybody do that.
Right.
No.
But,
yeah, I think it's kind of interesting just to see what the future of, because recycling is a big thing in the United States, obviously. I mean, everyone's looking at thing, and all old collectors like us, we have old product. And a lot of things have been staying on our shelves for like 30 years. We haven't changed it. So I was just curious if that is a interest in what you guys do or something like that. So
yeah, we haven't done anything like that. I mean, I'll look into it. I'm not sure the economics on it. I don't know, how much it will cost to recycle, but I don't know if that could save us money into like shipping it back over to be, remade and
I know.
Maybe get it, cheaper that way. But I do think though, for the most part, if the supplies are well made and you keep it out of light, they're going to last a long time. Even from the 80s, they're fine. It's like when you see those yellow holders, are probably exposed to like a lot of either sunlight, UV light. They're not going to really turn unless if they're like exposed. So even if they're 30 years old, they should be fine unless if again they got a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
Either the light or the elements or if it was stored
humidity.
In a storage unit. Yeah, humidity.
Yeah, being from Houston, humidity is a big thing. So
120-degree storage unit in the summertime, maybe, but if you're not storing your cards like that, I mean, they should last a very long time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Michael, you had addressed the plastic cuts earlier. In your research and your years in the hobby, what other kind of complaints have you heard from collectors in general, just regarding like their card supplies and their protection elements that they use for their for their collectibles?
Well, the biggest ones we've heard is, and again, pre-pandemic, I think pretty much all the supply companies were pretty good, but since then we've heard rumors. Again, I can't speak firsthand only because we don't buy those anymore, but other people, had complaints about various other companies about how there's either like a lot of debris in there, the top loaders are falling apart. Again, previously all our current competitors, the long-standing ones, never had any issues with their stuff. But since, 2020, 2021, I've heard things, but again, I can't personally substantiate it because I've never used them, obviously, because I'm not going to use somebody else's product now.
Right. I
Yeah,
just figured though,
Uh,
right.
folks might write in or call or
mhm,
send a message, stating like, "Hey, I've had this experience," or "What about that?" And
mhm,
you're like, "Hey, yeah, the quality control issue might be one, the
mhm,
aging and its negative impact with like
mhm,
as materials, erode over time." You're in this industry. I'm really kind of curious, like,
mhm.
some of the headaches that
So,
you had to find solutions for.
yeah, so one thing we did with the semi-rigid holders, because again, people like the grade stuff, so even like all the oddball size stuff,
Yeah.
we made them bigger, certain sizes like the whole sportcaster cards, the T3 Turkey red cabinet cards, because people
Yeah,
don't
they're
like
different
submitting that stuff in the
sizes.
top loader. Yeah. So, for the bigger cards that are, not your
Some of the
normal two and a
postcards
half by
back
three
in the
and a half.
50s. Yeah.
Yeah. So bigger postcards, tickets, or semi-rigid fours, for example, hold first day covers.
Yeah.
You know, some people collect that in this industry because, you have the element of the stamp being stamped the very first day it was issued, and then a lot of times people get them autographed. So our holders hold those, whereas the competition, a little short, they stick out. So, again, small little improvements. We're not doing anything that's necessarily like super monumental, but with, being in this for almost 40 years, just little things to make the products better.
Yeah. I'm curious. So, does Humongous Hoard have, I mean, when these grading companies, send you send you the product that's finally graded, do you guys have contracts with some of these grading companies? If
No,
that's
we have,
sensitive, I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking as a, a general collector. I mean, how does Humongous Hoard fit into some of these grading companies and the things that people do? And so, I mean, how does that work?
so we don't have any contracts with anybody.
Okay.
Obviously we try to let them know who we are, but all these companies now are so big that, it's pretty tough to get through. So I guess if you want to mention challenges, that's another challenge that,
Okay.
so I guess again with the semi-rigids in particular, some people really appreciate that they don't get their hands cut anymore. You grab a stack wrong. I mean, I've gotten so many paper cuts back in the
Okay.
days. I would say that's the big differentiator. And, again, everything takes time. So once people know, they're gonna be like, okay, I want to protect my cards, but I also want to protect my hands.
Right. I,
Yeah.
I was going to mention, I watched a YouTube video with Orlando, and he was
Mhm.
at the National, and I guess he ran into your booth. Um,
Mhm.
and so I was going to ask, like, what was your take on the National, and was it everything you wanted it to be? And I didn't get to go, and Patrick didn't get to go, so
Oh, I'm
kind of
sorry to
curious,
hear
like, what's your
that.
take, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've done the national for a long time. That's why we're actually able to get a booth there. Um, and it's always good seeing like that. That's the one show where there's some people you only see once a year.
Mm.
That's the show. Some shows, you see them, let's say, for example, the Philadelphia show or the Chantilly show, talking about once close to me, the New York shows, like, well, it used to be JP's, but now it's Lucky shows. You see those guys, but the certain guys, you only see at the national.
Hmm.
So that's why anybody that could get out there if they have the time, they're able to get off and get out there. I'd highly recommend it because that's where you're going to see like, you know, pretty much everybody that can get out there is out there.
Yeah, it's like the Super Bowl of the hobby, I heard.
Exactly.
And it's just insanity and mayhem for like 5 days, and just
Hmm.
feel like you setting up and then tearing down, everything in between. And then I'm sure you're exhausted by the time all said and done, but you meet some great folks and you get contacts.
Hmm.
That's what I was going to ask.
Hmm.
Was it just as robust as what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean that I don't know what the count was, but I would say like from the last like since 20, trying to think they didn't have it in 2020, I believe, but 2021 and on, it seems like it's gotten busier every year.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
And even let's say 20 years ago, when the hobby wasn't as big and wasn't as good, and there were some tough financial times for the country in general, it was still a relatively crowded show compared to the rest of them. But now it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I hear you.
that's good. Yeah, I mean that's interesting to hear. So, what about like Fanatics Fest or anything like that? Do you guys have? Is there anything that Humongous Hoard does for them, or do they kind of control their own product? I mean, how does that work? Or is that another marketing thing that you could look into?
Well, I've been told that they have their own supply line, but
They do. Okay.
I haven't seen it at shows or anything, but other people told me. So, other than that, I don't really know anything other
Okay.
than that they do have at least a limited supply line. I don't know how in depth, but they definitely have top loaders and saw sleeves. I know that much.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Well,
Hmm.
Michael,
Yeah.
if you're ever down in Dallas, because that's where I'm at, we have the Dallas Card
Okay.
Show. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
ever been there or heard about it, but it's a pretty big show, and it's every 2 months down here.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard about it.
Well, come
So,
on
so
down,
it's a
man.
long
You're
flight
welcome.
for
We'll
us.
hang out and talk cards and
Okay.
go.
It's on the radar. That's good.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just come down to hang out.
Well,
Yeah, I'll be your point of contact, man. We'll take a tour of the Metroplex down
yeah,
here.
there's actually
Okay.
there's a big show here in Charlotte coming in October, like October 8th, I think, something like that. So if I have to look, maybe 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th that weekend, that's going to be the largest one in Charlotte, which is could be a good opportunity for you as well. And the
Okay.
last one I went to last year had it was kind of crazy. Like it was like 30% TCG and like all Pokemon stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I mean that aspect of the industry is growing pretty fast. I mean, do you guys? I mean, I'm sure that's part of your growth pattern as well.
We're not exactly sure. Obviously we know a lot of people, but some of the people that buy online, I don't necessarily know if they're Pokemon or
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
sports or
Fair.
both.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I know from the people that I personally know, because again, sports card guy, not a Pokemon guy,
Right. Right. Yeah.
that most of it's sports, but online could it be a lot of Pokemon? Yeah, it could be. Although we have no way to know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, well, we'll have to get some folks to display their wares with their Pokemon cards and their humongous
Mhm.
hoard, protectors and savers, and just
Well,
get it
well,
out
the thing
there.
that's cool is your logo is cool, man. It should belong in that genre, like that kind of like I don't know. It seems like non-sports cards. That's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah.
I think it's hard to tell where the growth is coming from, but I think you're right. I
Mhm.
mean, it's if you do the right product and it's right for the collector, it's
Mhm.
going to sell across all
Oh
different
yeah.
aspects. Yeah.
Yeah. And we actually made a promo card set, and we just actually completed our giveaway today.
Really?
So I'm not sure if you guys seen any of the promo cards. It was a 25 card set. 18 of them were people that signed at the show. So, we had those 18 people autograph the cards, and then we created, of course, Humongous Hoard as a superhero, and then we had six evil supervillains that try to destroy your cards. So, I mean, I guess you could say that's kind of going into Pokemon or the non-sports direction and marketing, but, you know, those cards are pretty cool, and the backs are hilarious.
And as I
Yeah.
say, I'm sure you have
So,
them on
so
your Instagram account, correct?
mhm,
All
correct.
right, definitely need to check that out for sure. Then
So, we probably should actually post like fronts and backs of all the cards, from the show just so people can see them.
the chase.
And the funny thing is, we were looking on eBay and people were like reselling them on eBay. So, all right, cool.
Yeah. There you
We're,
go.
we're creating value there too.
It's an
There you go.
ecosystem in its own. You created it,
Mhm.
and then it moves to
Mhm.
that seller, to that seller, to that
Yeah,
seller. So
yeah. Yeah, a bunch of people sold the packs. I've sold sets. I've sold like some of the limited edition singles. They were serial numbered. And then, the people that got the one-to-one autographs, they were sent out last week.
Okay.
Except for the two superhero, Humongous Horde and the supervillains, were waiting. The artist that actually drew them, he's still on vacation, so when he gets back, he signs them. Then those two will be sent out to the people who redeemed them at the show.
Okay.
very cool, very cool. Yeah, and if you can get like little flyers and stuff and hand them out at the shows as well, that'll
Mhm.
create some demand there. And you like you said, you have the artists sign a few of those, and again,
Mhm.
people see the value in that. They'll want to keep that memory of meeting y'all and the event, and
Mhm.
then the Humongous Hoard branding gets out there too.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm interested in like how did the name come about? I'm sure people have asked you this many times.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's one thing, like even some of my closest friends in this business, I mean, they're like, that is the stupidest name.
Well, the HH is cool. It could be like,
Yeah,
but I mean, humongous. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. Let's get behind this. Let's see. Had
yeah.
that happen.
So yeah, I'll go into the story. So pretty much, I was thinking of all these different things. I was going into, direction of a save or a protector or something, and then I was like, but that sounds so much like everybody else.
Yeah.
And eventually, I was like, okay, how about huge hoard? And then actually, I was, actually on the phone with, my IP lawyer, and we were like brainstorming. So we're going through all these different names, and then I was like, okay, how about huge hoard? And then he's like, how about humongous hoard? I'm like, you know what? That's good. Even though a lot of people, say it's a stupid name, but who's going to forget humongous hoard?
Correct.
And let's also not forget that everybody has a humongous hoard of collectibles.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
You know
it's
We
what?
hoard our
related.
cards, right? We hoard
Yeah,
them.
yeah, exactly,
Humongous
exactly,
pile.
exactly.
Yeah. If you don't have
So,
20,000 cards in your collection, I'm sorry, man. You're just not.
You
You're
got to
probably not
grow. You got to
collectible.
build up to it. Right? You got to grow up. You got to keep your
exactly.
collection going. Quantity over quality, quantitative quality, both. Get both going.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So thinking of the future, thinking ahead, Michael, like what's the next step for Humongous Hoard other than the recycling program? What else, do you have on
Yeah.
the horizon that you're planning?
So basically, it's just, you know, brand awareness. Well, once people know our brand, it's hard to like buy from anybody else. So,
Well, I want to help you as much as I
and
can down here in Dallas. You
okay,
got Patrick over in Charlotte, and
Yeah.
we want to help you. Look, we're all in it together. So let's grow this hobby.
mhm, yeah,
Yeah. I'd be
exactly.
very interested to know. I mean, how do you partner up with some of the card manufacturers? Is there a way to do that? I mean, like, I'm interested on the outside looking in, like when you have the supplies, do they have their own supplies? I mean, you mentioned something earlier that they may have their own suppliers, but is there a way to do an exclusive? I mean, you mentioned this small, um, autographed thing that you guys did your own card set of. I mean, that's kind of cool. That's an entry. That's a
Mhm.
start into something.
Oh yeah, I mean, we had close to 650 cards autographed, and
Yeah, that's cool,
you
man. That's
know, yeah.
yeah,
So it's something that, who knows, maybe we came on to something else too, because I mean, I think our generation, our giveaway is probably just as generous or more generous than, let's say, some of the other people who
Mhm.
actually do cards for a living. This is just something we tried out because thought it'd be fun and cool to, share our same passion with, everybody else.
yeah. And
Well,
I
Michael,
think
I was going to ask, as we're starting to wind down in a few, um, you have like the two big brand manufacturers these days, not like in the late 80s, early 90s, where you had the
Mhm.
proliferation of like five or six different manufacturers of cards. Do you see like when you're out and about, are there other smaller, like regional card manufacturers and you're like that you get acquainted with at these different shows?
It's tough for people to manufacture cards because the issue is that there's only one company that within 1 or 2 years is going to hold the licensing to everything.
Hmm.
So the only way you can make cards is through individual license, and then you can't use the team logos or anything like that either because that's, either MLB or whatever sporting entity's intellectual property. You can't use it. And since, this other company has the monopoly on everything, you would have to make it without, the team's logos, and then you would have to have each individual's permission to, make the card. So can it be done? Of course. You just have to do it in a more creative way than maybe what's being done right now.
I'm just trying to think of ways to marry Humongous Horde with some other companies and get the revenue streams going. So
Mhm.
kind of thinking out loud.
Yeah.
that's what we do, man. We got to keep this
Yeah.
hobby going, keep it growing, man.
Well, Michael, why don't you give us a quick shout out and plug, how our followers can meet up and purchase your products, get to know Humongous Hoard either through
Sure.
website, social media. Like, what's the best way for them to reach out to y'all?
So we have our website, humongoushoard.com. The social media, we have Facebook, same thing, Instagram, same thing. And I think we have a Twitter or X, whatever it is
Yeah.
now. And I'm not sure we use that, but I know we have that. And trying to think of what else we have. I mean, I think we're trying to get TikTok. Trying to think what other social media
There's
is there.
so much out
MySpace.
See,
there.
that's not my forte. So,
Yeah,
but
MySpace.
you know,
I'm just kidding.
we're out there.
That's hilarious. Well, Michael, we'll definitely plug the website, and then via Instagram and Facebook, we'll try to help get our followers and our viewers like
Yeah.
I said, become more aware of you and your products. And certainly want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. I had a blast, and like I said, in Texas we say like mi casa su casa, like my house is your house. Come on down to Dallas, man. We'll go do the Dallas
Okay.
Card Show, one of the other ones, and we'll have some fun, man.
Okay, sounds good. And if you guys are in the Maryland area, you know, let me know too.
Or the National. We'd like to see the
International,
National
yeah.
one of these days. That'd be cool too,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll be set up there next year. Actually, the same exact spot is this year. So
Cool.
Try to make this happen. It'd be a dream. It'd be
yeah.
awesome to go to the National.
Mhm.
Sounds good, Michael. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks for having me on. It's nice to meet
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
All
on
right.
that note, we'll
Have a
call it
good
a
night.
wrap. Take care, guys.
All right, you too.
See you next time.
All right.